Hero Club presents Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu.
This is Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu, episode 52 or 53. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little loss of mind. I'm pretty sure we're on 52, but it could be 53. This week has been kinda jumbled. I mean, yours truly, Wheelz21, had like this really weird thing happen where both of his knees felt like someone like shot them point blank with like a shotgun, or practically did what Ben Affleck did to Michael Clark Duncan in the original Daredevil live action movie where he blew out both his knees. And I shouldn't have even felt that pain because I'm a paraplegic. Nevertheless, though, for the opening act, I'll be joined by Visible Frickin' Ninja.
Yes, the freaking ninja.
As well as Janitor Joker.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I don't want your knees.
Yeah.
I don't want your knees.
So anyways,
don't put that evil on me.
So anyways, we're going to be opening up this episode, and later on in the later half of the episode, it's going to be myself, Visible Ninja, and Sound Out. So first off, on our lit list this week, it's a pretty jam-packed show, so we got to start moving along now because we want to make sure we hit our time limit. We have Wave 5 of Power Morphicon guests. We have the Super Mini-Pla, Kaku Rangers, Muteki Shogun, Kakure Dai Shogun, and Tsubasa Maru. In addition, we now know that Ultraman The Adventure Begins is going to be getting a Blu-ray release, as well as we are going to be talking about the Godzilla anime trilogy, as well as an announcement that recently came by Toho that kind of shocked the internet regarding Godzilla and the rest of their kaiju. So first off,
shocked the internet, but not us.
Well, not really us, but I mean, it did shock the internet, nevertheless, in some regards. So let's go quickly into our first bit of news. Oh, wait, and before I should say going into our news, our main discussion, we're going to be doing two topics. One is going to be talking about actually characters that should get a like spin-off or an actual spin-off, whether it be a net movie, whether it be a V-cinema, or an actual like theatrical film, like characters, like side characters, or just cast of characters that still have more to their story in Tokusatsu, as well as talking about a team-up or crossover that you think needs to be rewritten. That will be our two, topic of discussions later on. But like I said, we're going to go right into the news. First off, we're going to be talking about Wave 5 of Power Morphicon. First off, we now know that Walter Jones will be attending yet again, as well as Steve Cardenas. And in addition, we'll be getting Elizabeth Flies. I don't know. Her last name literally is spelled F-L-I-E-S, so I'm guessing it's Elizabeth Flies. From Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so that's Zach Taylor, Rocky D. Santos, and Elizabeth Flies was either a voice actress or a suit actor on the show. We also have from Lost Galaxy, we have Neil Kaplan and Kerrigan Mahan, better known as Kerrigan Mahan Ford Goldar, but Lost Galaxy's Magna Defender. Neil Kaplan as Destructo from Power Ranger Lost Galaxy, as well as Diabolico from Lightspeed Rescue, and Gluto from Time Force. We then also have from Time Force Kevin Kleinberg, who was Trip, Deborah Estelle Phillips, who was Katie. We have from Power Rangers Wild Force, Philip Andrews, who was Merrick, the Lunar Wolf Ranger, Jungle Fury, Anna Hutchinson, Lily, the Yellow Ranger. We have from RPM, Ari Boydlin, Flynn. We have Ling Ming Hu, Gemma. And we also have Dino Charges, Davey Santos, Ivan, Ninja Steels, Kelson Henderson. However, Kelson Henderson has been in almost every Disney production. So it's like, I don't know why they kind of specialized on Ninja Steel. I guess because it's his most current role, they used that first, as well as Boom Studios' Ryan Parrott. So, alright, first off, guys, what's your thoughts on this round of the actual Power Morphicon guests?
Alright, like I said, we got some returning favorites as well as some new faces. It's always good, especially seeing some people I've never seen before. Like I know Lee Ming-Hu is making her debut, I believe, here, and she's going to reunite with Mike Jin, which will be kind of cool. As well as Kelson Henderson, who's been, pretty pervasive, over the past, 15 years in the series. So, it's good to see him, and he's apparently a pretty chill dude, so that's gonna be awesome. All the other guests, like I said, are pretty dang cool. Well, since I'm not going, I kind of don't have much else to say about it, so it's.
I know that feel.
Yeah.
I have no money, man. I'm a poor man.
Exactly.
Poor man living in a poor world and trying to get the kikes about, which is my only goal in life.
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest surprise was actually Kelson Henderson. However, I kind of suspected he'd be there only due to the fact that the Ninja Steel cast will be there entirely. So it's like, why would you not bring Kelson Henderson there? Then again, he's not under contract to really technically be there by the Sabron Brands partnership because he's not one of the main 6 Rangers. But I mean, if you're skipping out on him, you're kind of stupid. So that's great that he's going to be there, and the fact that Ling Ming Hu's going to be there, that's kind of cool. With the crazy autistic Rangers being there in a pair, gold and silver RPM, because they were obviously very bombastic and very special in the head.
Good sir, it is boom time.
Ranger Board Rangers are in the house.
I'm going to make a bet that that's mostly going to be the people flocking to them. All right.
Well, hey, though. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next piece of news here, because let's just try to get this on a roll. Let's get this done as fast as we can, since the discussion topic, since we did record it a little earlier, is almost an hour long. All right, and also impromptu visitation by Mucha, which we deleted.
Hey,
he jumped in.
Hey, at least I didn't say, where's Gamera and Godzilla, huh? Where's that crossover?
Shut up. And that's the sad part. You came in right when we were talking about crossovers, and I was like, Mucha, get out of here. Get out of here.
You only wanted me to say it, Wheelz.
Alright, so we found out that Bandai and Premium Bandai are going to be releasing all 3 General Guardian Beasts from Kaku Ranger. For those who don't know, those are actually the Shogun Megazord, the Ninja Megazord, and the Falcon Zord. And first off, at retail is going to be Muteki Shogun. He is going to retail for 5,940 yen. Pre-orders have already opened up for him, and he will feature all 5 Shogun Zords, or should better known as the Giant Beast Generals. They will all actually feature their individual weapons, as well as be able to combine and feature several points of articulation as Muteki Shogun. And they will also feature the ability to have the individual weapons become exclusive, like weapon combination forms that were never seen in the show. As well as it will be sold on P Bandai alongside its sibling set, the Kakure Dai Shogun and Tsubasa Maru set. Now, this set is obviously the Ninja Megazord and Falcon Zord combination for Western fans. It will feature pretty much that entire set, all 6 mechas together, for a grand total of 8,100 yen. It is unconfirmed at this time if it's going to be released through Bluefin Tamashii. There are high hopes that it will be. So, guys, what's your thoughts on the Super Mini-Pla for Kaku Rangers, general gods, or god generals?
Awesome sauce, man. I love those mechs from Kaku Ranger. Especially when Muteki Shogun has Tsubasa Maru and they become a Gatling gun. I want to build that just to have a Gatling gun mecha next to me at all times and threaten people with it. But I find it funny that
I can't wait to try to get that, just to try to shove it into the Mini-Pla, the Mini-Pla King Brachion, so I can create Mini-Pla Season 3.
Yeah, let's Season 3 it, baby.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, that's how I have my Shogun Megazord displayed on my actual bookshelf, is the Ultras.
You know what's funny? There's no Super Mini-Pla, the Juso Fighters. What the hell's with that, huh?
Exactly.
No, they'll be sold. They'll be sold in the Yudo line or something like that. They'll be sold as regular candy toy figures or Figuarts.
Oh, probably. Oh, God, but yeah, pretty damn cool though. They, some people have some issues with some of the proportions being off from the original toy, but I'm like, it was gonna happen.
We knew it was gonna happen because there's no way around the legs of white and blue being able to shrink down to make a more accurate hand, like in show. Like, there's no way around it unless you parts form like Go Lion will be doing. But you can't do that with a Sentai mecha. You can't really parts form a Sentai mecha.
Well, no.
I think people assume that they were gonna make the frog legs more retract into the thigh of the actual Kakure Dai Shogun, but they really couldn't do that, and it does a lot like the Legacy Megazord here in North America does. So it's like a scaled down version of that with more articulation by giving an actual elbow joint into the ape's waist as well as the wolf's abdomen. Now, if they add in like a ball joint for the head, that would be actually interesting. So if the actual crane can be articulated. But honestly, I'm looking forward to these sets. These are probably going to be my favorite Mini-Pla waves thus far in the Super Mini-Pla line until they come out with the Jetman stuff that are still, rumored to be happening in our near future.
I'm just trying to get Dragon Caesar, baby.
Well, you can do that right now. It's on BigBadToyStore.com.
That's why I said it, baby, to promote it.
Damn right, shameless plugs. Alright, and as for that Ultraman Adventure Begins Blu-ray, yeah, just a couple of days ago, Tsuburaya announced that it'll be the first time that the series, or should I say animated film, will be receiving a Blu-ray quality. This is the joint production they did with Hanna-Barbera to create an animated feature, which I think was released in America as like separate individual episodes.
It was called The Ultraman in North America.
Yeah, it was either the Ultraman or Ultraman The Adventure Begins, Ultraman USA.
Yeah.
It features
the one
Ultraman
with
Scott, Chuck, and Beth.
and Ultra Woman Beth, yeah, who would later get actual suits from Tsuburaya. So
yeah, so this will feature actually both versions of the film, the 75-minute Japanese version and the 78 version of the English one, and it's actually going to be releasing on September 26th this year for 7,800 in yen. Also, I found out in recent developing news is that Tsuburaya is also going to be holding possibly a live stream press conference like Bandai's done in the past for Gundam as well as Digimon on like YouTube for actually Ultraman Rosso and Blue. What is it? What's it currently being called? RB. So we might actually have a live stream that will be not region locked. So international fans will see. So what's your guys' thoughts on the Blu-ray release as well as the possible, live press conference?
All right, I'll go first. So it's pretty cool to get this film on DVD. Like I said, it is one of the few times Tsuburaya has collaborated with somebody outside of Japan. And unfortunately, like in most cases, it doesn't work out too well. I mean, like Towards the Future actually didn't turn out that bad. There's the infamous, Ultraman Ultimate Hero, which didn't turn out great, but...
Oh, you mean that one that Mucha likes to go on tangents about?
Yeah.
Listen, it's not tangent.
I mean, I kind of liked it, but I could, like, it's not, like, great.
It's okay. It's not as bad as the Tigo dub.
Oh, no. But, no, yeah, getting, like one of these, like, classics in, that kind of gave us, I think, our... Like, other than Mother of Ultra, this was our first, like, actual, like, female Ultra, I think.
I think this was the third female Ultra.
Well, I know,
because there was Mother and Yulian.
Oh, Yulian, that's right. Okay, my mistake. But still, though, it's an oldie, but
This is a goodie. I haven't seen it, so maybe I'll check it out.
I saw it.
I saw the English once before on YouTube, but it wasn't good quality.
Yeah, like same here. So I'll have to reserve judgment on that. As for the press conference, it makes more sense because I guess Tsuburaya does know they do have a fan base outside of, Japan.
Toei's still figuring that out.
Well, yeah, Toei's still figuring that out. Obviously, like Sunrise has figured that out, which is why they're holding these conferences that are open internationally because they realize that Gundam has quite a large fan base outside of Japan. And Tsuburaya has known that for a while about Ultraman, so it's kind of good to see them saying...
Well, I mean, they were riding off of the coattails of what Tsuburaya already was doing with Toho, so they were like, we have a following, and with that following, we will say, hey, Toei, teach your tards to watch other tokusatsu.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say,
so it'll be
Toei
cool.
Become Catholic.
It'll be cool, I might check it out as long as it's at a decent time for me. Probably won't, but hey, whatever.
There's never a decent time.
So Mucha, your thoughts on Blu-ray and,
Oh, it sounds cool. I haven't seen the movie, so I'd be interested to check it out. Is it a movie or TV series?
It was a movie, but when they released it in America back in, like, the 80s, early 90s, they tried to, like, cut it up into, like, small VHSs of, like, parts 1, 2, and 3 episodes. Like a pilot.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, I think the movie was to be pitched for, like, a pilot, like we had. Because you remember, you remember the other Ultraman, what was it, the Ultraman? What was his name? Ultraman, I can't think of his name now, shit. You know what I'm saying?
One?
The one who had the actual other anime?
Jonius?
80?
Yeah, Jonius. Yeah, it's like Jonius,
Okay.
you know. It was supposed to be like
Yeah.
this movie was supposed to actually be a pilot pitch for a
Yeah,
series
it
for
was. Yeah,
Scott,
it
Chuck,
was to
and Bev.
hopefully. It was. Yeah, it was hope because I'm guessing this was to gauge interest to see if maybe they could make a series of it with Hanna-Barbera, but I guess there wasn't enough interest, so it just stayed as like the movie. You
It
know,
was
the
the
pilot.
Ultraman Power Hour with Godzilla.
And
God damn.
Godzuki!
Oh god.
This would be the first time they actually legally cross over.
Let's do it. That
Because
sounds
nothing beats,
interesting.
laser eyes Godzilla.
Alright, and for our last two pieces of news, first off, we have information on the final Godzilla anime film. Godzilla the Star Eater will premiere in Japan this November. In addition, we know that it will be on the 17th. And in addition, we know that it's most likely featuring King Ghidorah because the poster shows a
It kind of gives it
dragon.
away.
It kind of gives it away.
Kind
At
of
first,
a
like, we all
hint.
thought it was like some kind of weapon, and then we're like, no, it's obviously goddamn Ghidorah.
Ghidorah.
It's that
yeah.
fucking three-headed
All you-
Keylockian
all you
dragon.
need some fucking bells and two tails, and you're set.
It's like, goddamn that goddamn Ghidorah, get the fuck out of here.
Goddamn Gregorians!
Everywhere we go, Ghidorah always has to follow, like the dumb chicken it is.
I thought Gigan was the chicken.
They're both chickens, you know. GMK Ghidorah was a chicken.
That's true.
Well, in fairness, he wasn't really chicken. He just, was kind of
Impotent.
yeah, because he wasn't fully grown yet. So
He wasn't full camera.
no, he was like 1/4 Ghidorah, since he's supposed to have like 9 heads, but he only had like 3.
Yeah, but if he would have grown, he would have been as strong as, Revenge of Iris Gamera, and he would have fisted the fuck out of Godzilla.
Oh
With
yeah.
no hands.
Look, Mom,
got
no hands!
I got no hands, Dan.
Yeah, so I'm pretty
Okay.
sure all of us are, like, looking forward a little bit to what Ghidorah may look like. At least the design. For the overall movie, we're not really looking forward to it. We just want to see what Ghidorah looks like.
Is it going to be Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla versus Ghidorah?
I don't effing know. We haven't seen the second movie yet.
Well, yeah,
that's
it's not available internet. Like I've heard of people who've seen it over there, kind of
They said it
describe
bombed.
it.
They said it fucking bombed.
Like I've heard people say it wasn't great. I've heard people say that they kind of enjoyed it, but it does end on a it kind of doesn't end in a greatest place for a cliffhanger. And yeah, like it's obviously Ghidorah that they're teasing, but like I don't know. I've heard conflicting things, so I guess we'll have to wait till it's on.
All I've heard was it's
international
ass,
Netflix.
and they should feel bad about themselves.
Well, we'll have to wait till it's on Netflix to see, I guess. So.
All right, and the last bit of news that I know Mucha's really wanted to talk about the obvious, not so obvious, obvious, not so obvious fact that Toho was like, "Hey guys, we're going back to the Showa era," and everyone was like, "What do you mean by that? We're doing a cinematic universe," and everyone's like, "You mean you're copying Marvel?" And they're like, "Bitch, we did it first."
Please. We did it first. But before that was Frankenstein and Dracula. But we also did it first in Japan.
Yeah, but they did it on a grander scale, and they made them
Yes, they
heroes. Unlike, Dracula, Dracula, Werewolf, and Frankenstein, where they were still monsters. Where in this version, they became heroes for just one day.
To kill Ghidorah, because everything comes back to Ghidorah.
Yeah, think about it. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Why did Godzilla become a face? Ghidorah. Why did Godzilla continue being a face? Ghidorah. Why did Godzilla do certain things during the 60s? Because he was on island adventures. Why did Godzilla and the rest of the monsters of Monster Island help to defend the Earth against the Keylocks? Because they called on Ghidorah.
Yeah, they hate him.
Why did Godzilla come to save Japan when Nebula Space Hunter M tried to show up? Because they also had Ghidorah.
That was their fatal flaw. They just had Gigan and some other Joe Schmo. Godzilla wouldn't care as much, but he knew Ghidorah was there. He's like, fuck it.
And then Japan
gotta
couldn't
deal with
even
the problem.
defeat the mentally challenged cockroach, so they had to send a robot to get Godzilla.
He's a special needs god, Wheelz.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the special needs cockroach god.
Yeah,
He's a good
him and his buddy couldn't take out Godzilla and, a fake Ultraman. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like how Zone Fighter's the one that kills Gigan. That's always amusing. That's like the fun bit of trivia. Is like, who killed Gigan in the Showa era? Zone Fighter. What?
Who practically almost killed Ghidorah? Zone Fighter.
Yeah.
Other than 1999 when, all the monsters killed Ghidorah.
Yeah. Anguirus was a champ in that one, though. He grabbed.
Oh yeah, because he grabs him by the throat, and then Ghidorah slams his ass straight down to the ground, and then stomps on his back, and then Anguirus still walks it off like it was nothing. Like, damn, like he was like, "Hey, which way did they go, George? Which way did they go?"
We all know who's the real MVP.
Grososaurus.
Yeah, kind of.
That's pretty much pretty much everybody says it's Gorosaurus, but
yeah, no, okay. So, what's your thoughts though on the fact that Toho finally, for years after I was the one saying it to you, Mucha, it's like for the last couple of years, which I'm like, yo, man, if I ever was famous enough to like get my hands on doing a Godzilla movie or Godzilla novels, I'm cinematic universing that shit. Like everyone's getting a standalone film. Everyone. And you mean, like, what do you mean by Wheelz? And I'm like, okay, just Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan are getting standalone films again, where Anguirus is gonna have to share the spotlight with Baragon and Gorosaurus.
Well, you're gonna call that the Three Amigos?
Yeah, I will.
Sweet. They're gonna have sombreros and everything. I love it.
I'm not gonna lie. I was probably gonna have Baragon originally actually surface somewhere in Mexico or Arizona.
I think the real question is, how do you feel that they're not giving a sequel to Shin Godzilla?
Yo, listen. The only thing I wanted out of Shin Godzilla was the fucking sequel to see the tail eat people to death. I just want to see the tail kill everyone.
The true ending. The
That
true Persona ending.
is a polarly diverse film where like there's elements I love, there's elements I hate, but I really wanted to see what the fuck was gonna happen with that tail.
You'll never know, Wheelz, unless you write fan fiction. Which I'm doing right now.
I was gonna say, so literally what that movie was. Fan fiction. Political fan fiction.
For me, I think I'm of the mindset that I don't mind if they don't make a sequel to Shin Godzilla because it's a very closed film. It's like it has a beginning, middle, and end, and just kind of leaves it ambiguous enough to where it could be a sequel, but not really necessary.
Like, it's not necessary, but I mean, when you leave on the ending of Xenomorphs coming out of his ass, no, that's necessary.
And when all the
That's like
kaiju
some
are
James Cameron
just
shit.
parts of Shin Godzilla, and that starts the new MonsterVerse because all of them are just part of Godzilla.
Oh, you mean Godzilla Animu, the Godzilla Animu edition.
Yeah, like, we have Godzilla Jr. is the new Goji. He's Jesus. Then you have Martha Goji, who's also not Jesus. Then you have Ghidorah Goji. And we're going to keep on going.
Ghidorah freaking, oh god, he's going to be like, what is it? Ragnarok meets the India version of Ragnarok. He'll be 2 Ragnaroks in one.
Oh, wait.
No, he'll be
Ghidorah
3.
Goji's
He'll be no, here's the idea. Ghidorah would be like freaking like Aztec / Mayan, Armageddon. Then Indian Armageddon's going to be the middle head, and then the other head's going to be Ragnarok.
Oh no. It just keeps on going to shit.
Like any serpent in mythology that's supposed to bring forth, like, the end of the world, that's one of Ghidorah's heads.
Oh, so Lucifer.
No. That's another thing.
Oh, Destroya.
No. I was gonna say Lucifer as in the other, that fanfic that you were reading.
Oh, right. That one.
That one.
Oh God. Or Lucifer from Nexus, the one that was never released, but we have art about it.
Yeah, it's weird that they still made the suit art for it, but never made the motherfucker.
Because the show got canceled.
Damn you, peoples.
Damn you, man.
But yeah, no. Okay, so just to wrap this up, quickly, the fact that they're going back to the Showa era style of doing cinematic universe sounds great. I'm just hoping what they mean by cinematic universe is that some of the monsters will have standalone films. Like, I'm expecting, like, a new Mothra film. I'm expecting a new Rodan film. I'm expecting, a Godzilla film. I know people are thinking that Japan might go all out crazy and actually do, like, the Ghidorah film fans sort of always kind of wanted to see, is just a movie told in the perspective of, Ghidorah's, like, supposed psychedelic mind as he's conquering the world. So, like, you think it's, from the point of view of the people, but it's actually, like, Ghidorah's story, but you don't know it's him telling the story until he comes to Earth.
Oh, God.
Like, you heard that idea, right? Like, someone said they would love to see, like, a comic or something where it sounds like someone telling the story of the Great Dragon, but you don't realize it's just Ghidorah's inner telepathy giving off an evil monologue about how many planets he's ravaged and destroyed.
I just want a Jet Jaguar film. Come on.
Oh, so you mean like the John Bot series when the guy drove a car and it became John Borg and
Exactly.
John Nothing?
No, wait, no. The greatest movie of all time is the Megalon movie. You know it, Wheels.
My God, no! We need to have that Megalon is like a part of the actual Mothra, actual storyline. Like, no. Make Mothra's movie actually like tie in with Gotengo, Manda, and Megalon, and just be like all these ancient civilizations for years have been trying to take over the world, and Mothra's like, listen, you other gods, I will slap the bitch out of you
No,
because you're not as strong
I,
as
I
me.
want a kaiju buddy cop movie with Megalon and Gigan.
Dude, how about? Oh my God, we've always said that.
Let's get it done, Toho. Let's get it done. The greatest duo to ever exist in a movie about them fucking up everything.
And with that, we're moving on.
Why'd you hold the ball, JR? Why'd you hold the ball?
Now, as stated before, we are going to be doing 2 discussion topics this week on our show. We are going to be featuring the fact that we're going to do 2 characters that deserve either a spin-off or a feature film to wrap up their storyline, as well as we're going to talk about a team-up, a crossover that occurred in Tokusatsu that we feel like we would have changed or like to have seen done better with the execution. So I'm going to be joined here by Sound Out Invisible Ninja for this chat. And to start us off with the character that deserves a spin-off or film to wrap up their storyline, we're going to start off with Sound Out, then we're going to go to me, then we're going to go to Metal, and then go in reverse. So Sound Out, start us off.
Okay, so my first pick for a character kind of like sequel continuation revival sort of thing would be Kikaider-01, good old brother of Super Android Kikaider. And can anyone guess why I think Kikaider-01 deserves a continuation?
Why?
Because regular Kikaider already got his own movie as a reboot. So, because of that, I think that, Kikaider reboot was great at kind of revitalizing the character, and I feel like 01 getting that same treatment would be really awesome. The way I do it would be kind of in the style of Kikaider reboot, where it kind of felt like this sort of could be the original version of Kikaider, or it could just be a new one, and you can kind of like mix it up a little bit. But I would bring in random Kamen Rider actors to play different characters, just like Kikaider reboot did. And yeah, I'd go from there. I think that would be my first pick for that.
That was really simple and really short. My God, that was swift.
It was elegant in its simplicity.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it was very simple. All right. So I guess since I said I'd go next, mine actually is I would want to see the Kamen Rider Kuga either light novel or, if I recall, short manga adapted where it follows Ichijiro investigating the possibility of Godai returning to Japan, and that he has reappeared as Kuga yet again because lately Grongi were reappearing. Now, the reason I want to do this is because we know Joe Odagiri will never come back, but the other actors never said that they wouldn't come back if asked, from what I recall. So that means we could actually have the supporting cast of Kuga return and do a, small production where Godai himself never actually needs to show up on screen as Godai, because the book does touch upon him, does shadowed out illusions and just the idea of the picture of who Godai is, what he was, where could he be, is he still alive, kind of plays into the whole concept. And the only time I think he shows up in the actual book is at the very end.
At the very end,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he appears in suit as Mighty Form. Just appears, rips the belt off of the girl whose father was the one who was studying the Grongi, who discovered the belt in the first place, and she was the one who helped piece together some clues, knowing her father's research. So I feel like if you want to get away with doing like a Kuga movie and being able to reunite a majority of the cast and getting away with avoiding Joe Odagiri, do the book that follows Ichijiro and Sakurako trying to locate or figure out why a few new Grongi have appeared. Like, why were these ones left dormant over the last decade or so after Kuga had slayed the rest of them, Dagobah Zeba and the ones that originally woke. Like, why was there a small tribe that just awoke now. What was the cause to it and whatnot? I feel like it's the only opportunity fans would ever get, but I feel like it's so in the back of Toei's mind that instead of doing a Kuga anniversary film, they would straight up like try to reboot it like they did with Amazons. Even though you feel like they would go with Showa writers, I feel like knowing them, they were like, oh, we're just gonna pull something out of our ass and
Kamen Rider
tarnish it.
Kugas.
Yeah, like Kugas or Kamen Rider Grongis. Like, wait, what? That's one of
And
the
it's
things
US
that's so far.
title. Grongis Riders.
Oh God, don't make me throw a shoe at Amazon and their wonderful
Cougar
idea.
Rider.
Yeah, Kuga Rider. Like what? What? But I just feel like that's like the best cheat way to get something like I want a Kuga movie, but we're not getting Joe Nagiri, so just give me Ichijiro, badass cop man. So, I mean, people love him. So, I mean, why not?
And it's also his name is Ichijo.
I know.
Ichijo-san.
There's no jur.
I don't know why I always screw up his name. It's Ichijo.
You also screw up You also say Cross Wars is a Cross Wars, so.
But it is Cross Wars.
Yeah, you always say it's a Cross Wars.
Yeah, it's Cross Wars.
Moving on with life before we start the Digimon podcast.
We can do that right now because I have Mega Kabu Buzz in my hands.
Yeah, and I'll have the better version in October.
Consider you
I'll
mean Atler
also have
Kabu Buzz
the better
Buzz?
version in October.
Alter Kabuterimon.
Even though it's still Mega Kabuterimon to me.
Atler Kabuterimon, goddammit.
Yeah, Jeff Nimoy doesn't give a fuck about your Nippon. So, Visible Ninja, you're next on your
All
choice
right,
of a
light
character.
sound out. I too am gonna go a little more obscure because this is one that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I'm gonna go with the forgotten metal hero, Jiraiya.
How is it forgotten when he's in the next goddamn Space Squad movie?
Well, I mean, compared to other metal heroes, Jiraiya, like up until recently at least, didn't really seem to get like much of anything because he was kind of the odd metal hero out since he was the least metal hero-ish of the metal heroes.
Oh, you mean before Blue SWAT came about?
You mean because he had skin showing?
Yeah, which is funny because all modern depictions show him in God Jiraiya mode, not in original Jiraiya mode. So, but hey, whatever. They probably don't want to show, the stuntman's eyes or something, but yeah. Well, no, it's because, like, I really enjoyed the show. They actually did establish canon that, Toa is still around, doing shit for the, World Ninja Association or whatever. And that he is still Jiraiya, though that it's kind of right for him, being ready to pass the mantle of Jiraiya on. Not to mention the fact that Emiha is probably Kei as Emiha is still around. Plus what was the kid's name? Manabu. Probably went on to become a ninja himself, and he's also Boy from Geki Ranger, by the way. But Jew Ranger, not Geki Ranger.
Don't forget, freaking Lami got her career started by doing, Jiraiya too, because like she's like, I wouldn't say famous, but she's like a cult like loved character in like France. Like her actress is like a cult loved like actress in France and Europe where they showed Jiraiya.
Yeah, they love her there for some reason, but no, it's just because because of a bit of recent, I guess you could say, popularity, because showed up in the episode in Ninja, as well as the fact, he's kind of being a focal point of the upcoming, Super Sentai versus Space Squad movie. And because, like I said, there is kind of continuity there that, he could just, pass it on to a disciple. And then we could see, what Kei's been up to, what, Manabu's been up to. And, maybe even, well, I know, the old ninja master himself, Dr. Yamatano, I think his name was. I know he sadly died since he was a legit like doctor of ninjutsu, but I just kind of be interested to see like where these characters are now because of the increased kind of focus on him recently, for good, because it's an awesome Metal Hero series, and for bad, because of some of the more stereotypical ninjas that showed up during the show. I'm not going to say KKK looking, American Rocket Ninja, but yeah, KKK looking Rocket Ninja, as well as blackface cowboy ninja. Yeah,
that sounds terrible. That sounds really terrible.
Oh, and then there was the spider ninja from like Kenya, again, like some of the stereotypes were kind of like, you know, especially by today, like uncomfortable. Like I said, there's blackface cowboy ninja, there's vaguely KKK-ish rocket ninja, but you know what? I'd like to
I'm
see
starting
it.
to realize you only like the show for its racism.
No, actually, I like it because I enjoy the characters, and because it's ninjas, and because there's copious shots of the female ninjas' asses. So yeah.
So it's more or less racism and asses.
If you want to go with that, then fine. But it's more than that.
Ninja Seki Jiraiya's.
Everything's gonna be an Amazon's joke with you, isn't it?
It really is. It's too easy.
Well, like I think it actually does have. Actually, Jiraiya does have an official international title. It's called Ninja Olympiad. But
What?
Interesting.
Because it aired in 1988, which was the same year that both the Seoul Summer Olympics happened, as well as the Calgary Winter Olympics. So they called it Ninja Olympiad. To kind of, oh hey, all these ninjas from around the world are coming together to do shit.
Okay, that
So-
makes somewhat sensical, I guess.
Well, like just like how G-Ranger's international title is Galaxy Warrior, is freaking Galaxy Rangers. So yeah, I don't know.
But I think that's the name that was because of the Saban copyright. is
Well, no,
Galaxy
that-
Warriors.
That was actually Toei's official international title for it. Just like how their official title for Gyaka Dengektai is the Jackers.
The Jacker-ons or the Jacker-offs.
No, it's literally the Jackers.
Oh, do they jack on or jack off?
Both.
Both.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Oh, with that silence, I'm guessing Invisible Ninja was done.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your second option, since we said we'd then go in reverse once it got to
Okay,
you?
so if we're circling back around then, the one I would want to do technically sort of already got done. So I'm going to go with my option B, which, funnily enough, actually would be, sort of timely, but what I'd like to see a continuation or spin-off of is actually Go Busters. Because, like, again, all the characters are still around. You could have Vlaglas or Vargas or whatever the hell they were translated as, still kind of holding out in some way, shape, or form. You can bring back, Enter and Escape again, especially Escape, because, and not to mention, see what our bros have been up to, whether or not Blue, actually, became an engineer, and, whether Yellow, is a creep showing up in Netflix, dramas, wanting desperately to get married.
I think we already know the answer to that one.
Yeah. Hashtag Mob Psycho 100, because Arisa Koyama actually does show up in an episode, but yeah, Go Busters, because again, like they were like a kind of they had an interesting dynamic with each other. They had fairly interesting villains, at least I thought, and I would kind of like to see a follow up to them, or failing that, let's just go with the Dobutsu Sentai Go Busters. The Go Busters that everybody loves because they're show-tastic. Cue generic 10 years after special about them. It's like, oh, Red and Yellow are married and they have a kid, but oh no, the villains reappeared and kidnapped their child. Oh noes.
So you want so you want Dobutsu Sentai to be a ripoff of the Jetman manga?
You know what? Why not? Why the hell not?
That actually sounds like the ludicrous idea is like actually make it Go Busters 10 years later, but have a subplot be the Dobutsu universe is just the Jetman manga adapted into Dobutsu. That would make so much sense, actually. That'd be like the most cockamamie storyline.
I mean, Green Hippo did die, so he could be this universe's, Black Condor.
God. Oh, God.
Only,
then it makes sense that
of...
Red with her stupid.
It lines up. It lines up. Oh, my God. I just blew my own mind.
Wow, it's like the time when sound out. It's like the time when you created the what is it, the car rangers and the used car salesmen.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm like, it works. It works so well. It's scary. But yeah, that's basically mine. Is Go Busters, or failing that, go for parody and go with Dobutsu Sentai Go Busters. go for the lols.
Everyone loves that. I mean, Dobutsu was a really good actual like plot twist movie in general. Like no one saw that shit coming. All right,
And
so
hey, gave us Black Panther before Black Panther gave us Black Panther.
when I get you home, I'm gonna tell you everything wrong with that sentence.
It's true though.
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh, okay.
No, no.
I know he was a
Whatever
Puma,
I was
but
gonna
whatever.
say, whatever Tokusatsu Twitter tells you, they're always wrong.
I'm like, I
remember
know
that.
he was a Puma, but it's close enough.
All right, so my next
Puma, Panther,
my
whatever.
next one's actually an idea that kind of came out of like left field, but it was the idea of like how we had Hero Mama League recently, which was like a 15-minute like special of just the moms being moms. I was more or less thinking instead of doing ones where like these actors are actual parents, just make it that the characters that you would think are like parents, and do one that's like about the dads, like a dad league. And because like when you watch Gingaman, Goki obviously is gonna settle down with the teacher at the school that the main kid goes to, their main support kid goes to, their kitty connection character.
Kid appeal character.
Yeah, kid appeal character where he goes to school to. Like Goki falls in love with his homeroom teacher. So like, I feel like there would be do an episode where like Goki, Abare Black, a few of the like Abare Red, and a few of the other like senshi that are like considerably like dad characters in the show, or ones that actually did become dads, are like like it's just instead of giving them like a 15-minute special.
Release this for Father's Day and blindside you.
I know, but that's why I'm saying this, because watch them actually do it though. But like take characters that either could be dads or actual actors that are dads and put them in this one special. But don't do just like 15 minutes like they did with the women. Do like maybe a full 30-minute one and have a pseudo fight scene, and like make it be like the ones that like the fight scene is actually the dads get into a fight with each other using their powers over who has the best parenting skills. So it's like, the guys are actually like, blowing smoke up each other's asses till it gets into like who has the bigger dick measuring contest, where they actually start fighting each other to the extent where like the dads pulling the mechas, and then like the mothers who are either powerless or actually senshi are like, oh god, women, we got to join together and stop these idiots from blowing up the city this time. And like the end is just like, Doggy Kruger and the Deca Rangers are like just all handcuffing all the guys, and like they're all like, what do we do? You know what you did? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God,
and then as the plot twist, Jasmine goes, I wonder what's in Abba Red's head. I wonder if it's changed since the last time I read his mind. And then it just ends with her going, Abba, Abba, Abba. And it just ends with her just start doing the Abba Ranger dance all over again.
Oh God, you're reminding me of something, because I've seen people say, since they've seen the subs of it, because they mentioned that Doggy and Swan are off on vacation right now. And people are like, I want to see a spin-off about that. And I'm like, actually,
No, I don't. I don't, because it'd be a freaking, erotica novel. It'd be like something you'd see on Skinamax. It'd be like Hotel Erotica SPD Emergency.
Basically.
But no, like, I feel like they should do, like, a dad league, but, like, do characters that either were dads in the show or are dads in real life, and just have it be, like, a giant, like, them trying to be, like, who's the best dad dick measuring contest, where, like, at the end of it, it's, like, the wives and, like, the actual female senshi are, like, having to stop them, and it just ends with them, like, all getting handcuffed and arrested and, like, detained, and, like, other senshi going, really? You're setting a bad example for your kids. Like, just to show, like, like, the stupid ideology of how Japanese comedy is like, boys will be boys, so it's, like, the actual, like, Abare Red's, like, in a fist fight with Ginga Blue.
Or, he could bust out his expert level English on us again.
Excuse me?
His expert level English.
Excuse me. What?
With Abare Red.
I don't know what you're talking about.
At the very end of the series, he goes to America with what's-her-face, the little girl, and they're speaking English to each other while they're supposedly in America, and it's like horribly, extremely deeply accented.
No, she went to America while he was still in Japan. She was calling him on the phone, I think you're talking about.
No, they were both in America.
Oh, they were? I thought that she was... Okay.
No, their car broke down. They're like, well, we've been here for 6 months. Oh, yes, we have. Again, sorry, very, very racist-sounding accent, but it was basically that.
Because I don't remember that. Like, I remember, like a phone call about being in America, and him... Oh, no, that was the Deca Ranger movie where it happened, where he was on the phone talking to her. That's right, I'm confusing the... Okay. Okay, but still, no. It has to end with like the guys getting arrested, and Jasmine goes just as like a spur of the moment goes, "Oh, I'm gonna just read his mind, see what's going on," and then it's just the Alba Ranger song all over again. She gets pissed off that she fell into that trap, like she plays herself. Like that'd just be me. Like I feel like they should just do that, like do that, but instead of like I said, where they don't have a fight scene, no, make it be a fight scene, and it's just the dads trying to like see who's the
One up
best
each
dad.
other.
Yeah, like it's just them fighting. Like it's like, oh look at me, I take my kids on rides of my giant Tyrannosaurus, or oh I take my kids on rides in my plane, and then the plot twist should be at the very end, like Ryu just shows up and be like, my kid is almost as old as some of you guys, and he's not a senshi, but he should be. Like that'd be great. Like Ryu Ranger, just like not Ryu Ranger. I mean, I meant Ryu from Jetman, so I meant Red Hawk.
Right.
I got so confused because Ryu Ranger. But like I said though, it'd be funny. Like you get like these like like you get these Showa or early Heisei characters that just show up and be like, my kids are as old as you and they know better. Like the hell's wrong with you? Like what's wrong with you people? Like that's what I think would be like a cool one, since they did Mother's Day, do a Father's Day one. Then eventually they're gonna do Siblings Day, and we're gonna hate that one because there's gonna be the 5 men and the Magi Rangers in a Family Feud fight with with Go-Go 5.
Well, at least we do get an extra Magi Ranger in Mama League since Tsubasa shows up. But yeah, I know what you mean.
He has to
Well,
put his
that's
big nose into
because-
everything.
That's because his actor lives at the Toei lot.
Like for reals.
Like, literally probably lives there because he just shows up in everything.
He's like, I ain't doing shit. I ain't doing shit.
Ninja,
So yeah, give me
Q
cameo.
Ranger. Yeah, he's been in them all. Yeah, he's yeah. Wait, was he in Tokyuger and Zooger? Yes, he was in
Possibly.
Zooger. He was in
Zooger, yeah, because he showed up as Stinky Jin in one of the like little like goofy like crossover like special things.
Oh yeah, the one that was the Terminator.
Oh yeah, he
Sentai.
shows up as Dobutsu Jin. Because mainline Jin is dead and gone, dead and never coming back.
Yeah, it's his ghost haunting the Toei lot.
I was gonna say his acting career is haunting the Toei lot.
The ghost of his acting career.
I don't know why, but I want to actually tweet that to him and be like, we call your many
On our
cameos
podcast,
that.
we determine that you live at Toei. Can you confirm or deny this?
I don't know why, but
Do you just live there?
No,
'Cause you show up in
with our luck though, he'd get Makito Ozu's actor, freaking, Magic Green's actor to help him translate what we're saying, and then have him be like having a conversation with us, and then like.
Well,
that's
of course,
what would happen.
because he can't speak English.
No, freaking Magic Green.
I
speaks
know,
clean English.
It was doing the joke from the
I know.
episode,
The one where Tsubasa can't speak English, but then Green just comes up and like, yes, it's this way. All you have to do is take a left and a right, and he's just looking at him like, what?
And he totally could have hit on that like blonde like American tourist, but he like didn't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When Tokusatsu actors actually speak like with a clean English accent, you're just like, excuse me? Where did you grow up? Who are you? Are you a Cylon?
Yeah, it's also fun when bands do that from Japan, or just like perfect English speakers, and I'm just like, where's
Oh yeah,
the-
it's like the funny thing is like that one time when we found out Ruka can like only speak clean English when she sings. Like that shit was crazy, where she actually has like a clean English accent only when she like sings. But yet freaking what's his face has a really clean English accent. Gem's actor.
right.
But he's been learning
Oh,
English since he was
Gentoku
like.
can speak pretty good too, though.
No,
From
Gentoku has
Steinbelt.
Gentoku has an accent. He has a hard accent.
I
You can hear
know,
it.
but he can still speak pretty well. Like you can understand him and everything.
Oh no, I'm just saying. But Gem though, he's been learning English since he was like
Nothing
16.
beats This Is My Blog.
No, we don't talk about that because then it leads to Visible Ninja committing, acts towards women.
Does it now?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Because you never see it coming.
Exactly. No one saw that coming. Not even Blade.
In other news, is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
So my second pick is one that's already gotten a revival because of Kamen Rider Forze and Toei's Weird. We're going to keep bringing back random characters from Artoku from the 70s. And that was Uchu Tetsujin Kyodyne. And Kyodyne, I felt like their revival was really poorly handled. Because like when it was announced, it was like, oh, okay, they're bringing them back. They gender swapped one of them. They gave them, different like suffix names, but it's still kind of like the same concept. And so it was one of those things where I was like, okay, well, this could be great. And then middle of the movie, it turns out that Black Knight was not the villain, but in fact the hero of the story, and the Kyodyne were actually bad guys now.
Yeah, I don't
And
understand
so,
during Forza why they did that with a lot of the Ishinomori extra heroes, started bringing them
yeah, they
back for no
continued into Wizard because we had
reason.
Inazuman showed up as a villain, but then came back as a hero. But then, yeah, you had like Akumizer 3 come back as villains for the Wizard Forza movie. And it was a lot of like, it was like kind of problematic. It's like you're taking these classic characters that people may vaguely remember and then bringing them back as villains, which kind of just felt really disrespectful in a way.
Yeah, like I can see the Codyne and was it Codyne and Groundine?
Kyodyne.
Yeah, because like the funny thing is like I vaguely remember like knowing of them through outlets like DT Kingdom, and I could see like them being popular like characters that you could revive because they're kind of like Metal Hero-esque, but they're part of the Ishinomori extra
Well,
heroes.
the whole story behind them is that they're two brothers that went missing on a space flight, and eventually they came back. They came back, and it turned out that they had actually been turned into robots. And it's kind of funny because one of them was the actor that played Rider-Man. He
I'm
played
guessing this
Groundswell.
happened after he was Rider-Man.
It was after he was Rider-Man. But yeah, he played Groundswell, and it's like Groundswell and Skyzell were brothers, and their like powers would be activated by them holding hands. So, gender swapping Skyzell to be female for the revival, I thought was smart. So honestly, like, there's two ways to go about it. Like, if you're gonna do like a sequel, I would say just like keep them both male. But at this point, I'd say almost that. How about we do take some inspiration from the Forza version and actually keep keep one female, so then they're a sibling duo. But yeah, I just like none of the actual like let's make them villains things. That seemed really weird and out of place. And I think the worst part too is that it not only was like a one-time thing, but they actually brought them back for Superhero Tyson Z, and they were villains again. And they actually turned against like Space Shocker in that movie, so it was like, oh, they're gonna actually have like a redemption arc. And then it was like, nope, they're dead. Never mind.
Yeah, that's kind of
So
weird. Because I knew they came back a second time. I just couldn't remember what movie it was until you reminded me.
yeah, and so it kind of like annoyed me. And I think the only thing good to come out of that revival is that we got the figure arts of Groundine and Skydyne, which I thought were fantastic. Like, yeah, they weren't the original designs, but those designs that they had were really good. And honestly, like, those figure arts are really good. So I'm glad we got that. But other than that, like, I just kind of felt like, their grand return just wasn't that great. And so because of that, the way I would do it would be, yeah, I'm just going to go and say that what I would do is take some ideas from the Forza version. So gender swapping one of them, still keep it as Skyzell because it kind of works best. Siblings, humans that went to space became robots. That whole part of the original story should be kept. A lot of the villains should be kept kind of modernized. And I'd probably do it as a film similar to Kikaider Reboot, because you can kind of like modernize and update them without losing the spirit of the originals. And also not taking too big of a gamble of doing a whole TV show. Option B is to do an Amazon-style show where it's like a streaming series and can be serialized completely through. But I think telling a story of them, because I think that's the folly of the original series as well, is the fact that it got very episodic, and using its episodicness, it got very, very weird.
Like, here's one thing
And
I
the
could
weird,
see with this show as being very either Hawk and Dove or Cloak and Dagger-ish to really build off of like their abilities.
yeah, I definitely Hawk and Dove-ish because, and also a little bit of Wonder Twins because they can only use their like transformation powers when they touch. But I just really like to see something with them because I feel like they kind of deserve retribution for being screwed over in their revival.
You know what's funny though? Speaking of like, retribution of the revival, the Akumizers, the sad part is even though they were heroes, with a name like how they sound like villains. They do sound
Right,
like it by
and
the
the
name.
way they look too, like that one, like the Alchemizer's change, I think was like made sense, but then it was like when it turned out that like Black Knight was like a hero now, it was like this is just funky. It completely swapped. Like, the black robot is now the hero robot, and the red and blue ones are the villains. It's just like, it was kind of like a cheap twist anyways. So I just kind of felt like it just didn't work very well. And I thought that, they were going to be the hero robots that would help Forza and friends. And it turned out they were
What's
villains.
also funny though that you brought up earlier is that like one of them was Rider Man. You know what I've always noticed was like a lot of the other Showa writers at the time, like V3, um, Rider Man, Amazon, and I think it was either X or Stronger, did a lot of the lesser known tokusatsus like that weren't.
They
just
had
Toei.
trouble finding work after Rider.
Yeah, because it was like I noticed that like a lot of these guys did like some of the not so remembered Subaraya productions, not so remembered Toho miscellaneous productions, because it was like Zaborger. There was like the one that John 9 and John Ace were spawned from, which was I think like John Bot or something like that. So like a lot of these guys like had a lot of work with the trivial lesser known tokusatsus too after that.
Right.
Like, not everyone got big and were able to really escape their roles in tokusatsu, per se. Like, only a few, I think, actors managed to do that, and even then, they're still only also nowadays remembered just for being those roles, even though they did other, things. Because, like, look at Hiroshi Fujioka. He's done other things than Rider, but that's the one that's, like, no matter what, he can't escape.
Even above Segata Sanshiro.
Yeah, and that too. It's like he can't escape those two roles, which is ironic because in America, when you can't escape a role, you're usually like your acting career is screwed. Where in Japan, it's like it actually elevates you more.
Right, because you're an icon.
Which is kind of funny. Where in America, like we shit on our icons.
Exactly. And that's the thing is that actually thinking about it, let's go dive a little bit into it. Recasting the Kyodine, I would say, just to kind of continue the theme of returning Toei actors, let's have Sky's new. Well, we'll go back to the original names of Groundzil and Skyzil as opposed to Groundyne and Skydyne, just to kind of distance from the reboot. But like, I would say Skyzil should be played by Commodore Malika because she could actually pull off the look of the character, and since in the original version, they didn't swap between their human form and robot form. They were just stuck as their robot form all the time. You basically kind of want like those actors that can double as suit actors. So I would say, Malika for Skyzil, and then Groundzil's a little tricky because I'm trying to think of a writer actor or a Sentai actor that does both suit work and out of suit work.
There's not really that many. I think like the only one you can get close to is Jiro, but Jiro doesn't do vocals. He just does a little bit of outside work where you see him as like, random guy who runs dojo, random guy on the street kind of thing that they bump into. Like there's like Jiro, Takaiwa's done a little bit of that stuff. How Takaiwa had a role in Ghost, and that didn't even help Ghost's, career, show, stardom, fame. So it's like you would really have to look deep for a male actor who can do kind of all three, which is kind of rare in Japan.
Yeah, I'd say probably just get like a really good anime voice actor to do Groundzil at that point.
I feel like you would have to though also make it that you have to get the voice actors pseudo in sync, like the Deno ideology of how they had Takaiwa, Jiro, and like the other two actors for Urotoros and Ryotaros, like actually practicing alongside the seiyus, so they could get like the mannerisms down on the actual train when they're in and out of suit.
Right. Yeah, I think that would work best, honestly, because it's like you need to like match them up, so that way, like when you do have the human scenes or you have flashbacks or something, you have those like actors on standby so that they can actually look the role, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely them as the robot, basically.
Yeah, that works pretty much. I feel like that works really well. That would work pretty effing good.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool, close to give like more chance for like a variety. But yeah, keeping them as they are stuck as robots would be good. I think that the whole like projection screen in the chest with the face of the human form is a little like dated at this point, and I think that could just be scrapped completely.
Yeah, they could just now actually do it as like a fucking teleprompter hologram straight from the eyes rather than in the chest.
Right. And yeah, let's not have
Let's not have notifications going off every 5 seconds.
God
Yes,
dang it.
let's.
What is with me tonight? Okay, let me.
Someone's texting you for a booty call.
Probably.
Wink, wink.
I'm putting myself. I'm turning off the booty calls until after the podcast.
Come on, guys. We all know it's Catherine Sutherland.
You wish.
I do wish.
Anyways, the biggest thing with the Kyodyne reboot that should not happen is we should not have 15-minute long segments of how to make robot food.
Yeah, wasn't that an actual?
Because it was around that
series?
point where I just kind of gave up on the original series.
I would too. So I think we did. All of us did our 2 of shows, what we'd like to see, how we'd like to do it. So now we got to talk about though a crossover that you did not necessarily like, and you would want to rewrite it to like work a bit better.
The Forza Kyodyne crossover.
All right, you can go with that then, since we're still on that Kyodyne hook.
I think but then again, it's just repeating everything I just said.
So pretty much just make them more respectable, but still keep the different genders. So like, still, you just want to do that. But do you have any other actual option where you can actually build off of that without having to?
A better crossover. I'm gonna go back to the thing I always complain and nitpick about every single time it comes up.
Koyuja versus Go Busters.
Yeah, there you go. That is totally like I have complaints about other Sentai Versus movies, but I think that one was the worst one because it spends about like 10 minutes with the Go Busters and then it's just like dinosaur time. But beyond that, it's like that movie crams way too much into an hour runtime. Like you have, Go Busters and dinosaur Sentais and revival of old dinosaur Sentai villains and Enter and Escape are back and there's a giant dinosaur showing up and then there's a dinosaur traveling through time. The Kyoryu just get turned evil. They go attack the dinosaurs, and they have to be back. And it just, there's so much happening. Like, I think that if you cut out the whole Kyoryu just turning evil thing in the middle, it might have run a bit smoother. But because you're trying to do, 4 different movies at once, it's just a total train wreck. I'd say keep it simple. Just do Kyoryu versus Go Busters, and do the Dinosaur Sentai as the return special, and then that way you could get more returning actors that way.
But Sada, we'll never have a full team of Auburn Rangers ever again since Yellow went missing and no one's ever seen her again.
Well, yeah, but you could have gotten more Jew Rangers in since they seem to be willing. But because there was the whole Go Busters cast, you couldn't really have there was 2 there. Yeah, basically Kyoryu versus Go Busters should have just picked a concept. Instead of saying, all right, here's our options, instead of saying, here's our options for a crossover, they said, why not all of them? And that was the worst thing, because I think it's honestly worse than some of the Superhero Tyson movies. At least those movies are a bit longer and are able to balance things better. Stuff just happens in Kyoryu versus Go Busters. The Kyoryu just turn evil between scenes. They don't even, show it happen. It just kind of happens, and you get to deal with it.
Is that all?
That's it.
Okay, Metal, you choose a crossover that you would want to rewrite.
Alright, if I had to go for one, oh god, there's actually been some pretty nasty ones, but if I had to go for one, I'd probably go with the original, the big bad, Superhero Tyson. Because you just kind of knew that in the end, writers and Sentai are going to war and they're literally killing each other. You just knew there was going to be some kind of cop out in the end, and oh my god, there was, and we had to deal with Daiki dealing with his, gay hard on for Tsukasa, and Joe having to deal with his gay hard on for Marvelous. So I would maybe. Again, I don't want to sound like I'm homophobic or anything, but I would definitely tone down on the homoerotic subtext.
It wasn't even subtext.
Well, the text.
It was a very bad
so
fanfic-ish. It was very fanfic-ishy weird to get more women to go watch the movie.
I expected Superhero Tyson to be weird and fanficky, but to the point that it went was just overdone.
You weren't expecting it to feel like a full-blown erotica.
The main villain of the whole thing, just because Tsukasa didn't pay attention to it, was ridiculous.
And it's sad when Daiki's actor himself pretty much comes out and says, "Yeah, I think he they were they were basically a couple back in the day, and he's kind of the jealous boyfriend, so." Oh god.
He's jealous of Tsukasa being secretly.
Basically, I would, if I had to again reduce the homoerotic, overtures, I guess you could say. Again, not that, like I said, not because I hate gays or anything. I just kind of felt like didn't really add a whole lot to the movie.
It actually took away in a bit because the characters weren't portrayed as that before, so
Yeah.
they became incredibly.
Because I remember it was Joe Daiki, Hina, and there was another woman, another girl. Who was the other one? It was Saki, wasn't it? Go on Yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, Go on Yellow. Wait, yeah, maybe it was Go on Yellow.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was.
Because I remember Joe, Hakase, Hina, and one other chick was there, and they were trying to stop. All that stuff.
I can't remember. I just remembered. Yeah, Hina and going and stuff. I can't remember. But basically, again, remove the the gay stuff. Again, not that I have a problem with that. It's totally cool. But
okay, instead of calling it the gay stuff, why don't you just say the homoerotic yaoi shippers?
There's that.
Why don't you just say the yaoi shipping?
I would make the resurgent Neo Shocker or whatever they were called in that movie. I can't remember. Or the great unification between the great evils. I would just have them being evil from the get-go and actively hunting down or assassinating Sentais and riders, and maybe some of the less scrupulous ones maybe not really trusting the others, and leading to some tension before in the end everybody has to straight up combine their powers together instead of it being this long con between fucking Tsukasa and Marvelous. Turning out that they're not dead, they're all in this pocket dimension. Yeah, we did it.
Which is the same exact twist they pulled in Decade Final Chapter.
Yeah, it's they're not dead. We just put them in this pocket thing to draw out the real enemy. And then Daiki went
in Decade Final Chapter.
And then Daiki
the same
went
thing that Toei abused one too many times.
Yeah. And then like I said, then because Daiki went all spurned ex-boyfriend on Tsukasa, he's like, yo, Tsukasa, yeah, bro, I thought we had something, so I'm just gonna blow up the world because fuck you. Yeah, that whole thing would be gone too. So, that's kind of my thoughts to make Superhero Tyson.
Your version of this has layers and depth and actual build up to the characters and the motivations behind.
Don't forget one of the stupid things about this movie was the villains were working for Decade and Gokai Red of all frickin' people to kill off the other side.
And it was we knew they had this great super weapon, but we had to have them lure it out, so we had to make it seem like we killed the entirety of the other side. And then they're like, lol, you both your sides are all dead. Now we shall unleash our true secret weapon. And then it's like, lol, that was our plan the whole time. Xanatos Gambit. And I'm like, bullshit. But
I'm tired of Shocker showing up and then just being Mr. Plot Twist the whole damn movie.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, basically
you mean like Kamen Rider Taizen. I knew you were not Ambassador Hell. Oh good, I hoped you were hoping, because really I was here to lure out all the writers.
Seriously, some of the things the show writers do in the Tyson movies is hilarious because they just pull these random ass plot twists, and everyone's always like, "Wow, that seems incredibly convoluted." I'm just like, "Have you watched Showa Kamen
No.
Rider?"
If a Showa writer does it, it makes sense. If a Heisei writer does it, that's confusing.
Exactly, it's
a
Showa writer's secret power of surprise. That body of me that just exploded was a dummy I swapped in at the last second.
Yeah, that's my kind of input. So
I appreciate your input.
I appreciate it too, because like you, I did actually enjoy the original Superhero Taisen. I did think that there were issues with it. The weird yaoi fanfic from probably Kobayashi or one of her understudies or whatnot were being involved. But nevertheless, I think the crossover I'm going to choose is actually one that's actually a good film, but I don't think it's a great film either. I'm actually going to use the Ginga versus Mega Ranger team-up as an example. Now, while the movie is good, one of the biggest problems is it kind of does what Saban sort of did in certain team-ups during the late 90s of, we can get all the actors to return on time to do the entire episode crossover, so they just show up at the very last minute to transform and fight with you. And that's one of the things that I actually did not like about the Ginga Man versus Mega Ranger one, is that like yellow and red are still in Japan, where allegedly pink, blue, and black went to America to study abroad. And so for the first act of the film, so like if you break this film up into like if it's a 40-minute film and you break it up into four quarters for every 10 minutes, about the first quarter to first half is only the Ginga Men with red. Then for about another 10% is the Giga Men with red and yellow, and then that's already now roughly 35%. And no, almost another 15% in total is just red and yellow. And then the last half to last third of the movie is the full Mega Rangers with the Ginga Men working together to get their resolve. And I think out of that, it is kind of a hunky-dory story. Is like, I don't like when you do a crossover and half your team isn't actually there. It's kind of like how in some of the later Heisei versus Taisens, instead of them being abroad, what they do is they throw you in little groups of 2s or 3s and pair you off and throw you all around, and then like your supposed, I guess you would say your successor sequel, you know what I'm saying? Like your successor's equivalent to you is then teaching you the difference between how their team works and your team works. Like, I don't like that aesthetic. So, like, when they first kind of did it, I think with Mega Ranger, I think they did it twice. It was with Mega Ranger and Ginga Man, and then it was Ginga Man and Go-Go 5, where, like, the full teams were not actually together to, like, the final half of the film or, like, the final third of the film, and it didn't click, where nowadays they do the whole, oh, you know, a blue has to be with a blue, a green has to be with a green, yellow has to be with yellow, or girls have to be with girls. Like, I don't like these weird, like, either pairings or mishmatches. So, like, I just don't like the, like, I was trying to say, I just don't like the whole, you know, the fact that in the late 90s, they were just kind of jumbled up where they didn't have their full cast. So that's one thing that I don't like about Ginga Man and Mega Rangers, that, like, the cast just shows up at the bare to bones last minute, where then later on they started doing this mix and match pair-offs. I don't understand the ideas of the pair-offs. Because I don't feel like the entire team gets a grasp of teamwork with another team. It's just getting the team-ups of your reds with your reds, your blues with your blues, your greens with your greens, your yellow with your yellows, your girls with your girls, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like it's bad examples on how teamworks and crossovers should technically be. Like, I feel like when you have your final fight, you should have, like, them paired off, but I feel like the full movie should be, like, more of a real aesthetic. Like, I feel like good teamwork and good learning about, like, who your teams are actually, like, the Mega Ranger Car Ranger one, because they just bump into one of them, and then they get the rest of them, and they're like, oh, so this is how teamwork really is. That's cool, that's great. So I feel like everything since Car Ranger and Mega Ranger has kind of been a shamble of they either don't have the entire cast or they do have the entire cast and they're just throwing everyone around. Like, Sound Out, like, what's your thoughts? Like, do you agree with me? Like Giga and Mega is like one of the crazy ones.
At least like nowadays they work the crossovers into the contracts. But yeah, no, like some of those early crossovers are kind of rough. I mean, look at Go Ranger versus Jacka even. Like, that movie didn't even have the rest of the Go Rangers beyond Momo Ranger, and it's like, of course, our Ranger, but he was playing big ones.
Yeah, I was trying not to be so broad like I was, but like I was just thinking like, oh my god, Ginga and Mega and what is it, Go-Go 5 and Ginga had that similar issue of they didn't have all their actors signed to the production to do the crossover, so they only showed up later, and that actually happened in Power Rangers too, which is kind of funny when you think about it, that Saban fell into the same trap of that, and that kind of butt fucked him. But then like you have, later installments where they do these weird mishmash of pairings, and like I don't feel like a team gets a real understanding for the respect and teamwork of the team. They just get the respect of the individual that is their successor. If you're the predecessor, the predecessor, you come to respect the new team, and the new team comes to understand and worship the senpai. So it's kind of just weird. So it's one of those things of late 90s, they didn't get really any interactions with each other. And since then,
Yeah.
the interactions are only paired off with what is your composite, what is your mirror image. So it's like a red has to be paired with a red. No ands, ifs, or buts, you know? It's like, you can't do that. So I feel like one of the things I do want is like how some of the more or less Power Ranger crossovers have done it, is that while they do pair off to fight, like, say, the monsters, most of the team ups is actually like the teams interacting with each other. Like remember in I think one of the best team up evers in Power Rangers is they really played off the aesthetic of red on red, yellow on yellow, blue on blue, with the whole Dino Thunder and Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder, because like while they were fighting evil clone, like not evil clones but evil controlled Rangers, they at least at the same time were like kind of mishmatching, because there was the whole part of what is it, Dustin's character's like, yo, I'm not afraid to hit a girl, and so like there was the part where like I think like blue and yellow like switched around, so like it would actually be like girl on girl and guy on guy kind of bullshit. So like they actually, you know what I'm saying, like they actually try to play up, like Power Rangers at least tried to fix that when you do a Ranger team up, you're not just mix and matching to fit your Sentai counterpart, but you're actually mixing and intermingling to get a feel of what teams are like. Like, for example, also Time Force with Wild Force. Like, they didn't just match with colors, they were also, like, mix and matching themselves depending on what scenes they were in. So, I feel like Sentai needs to kind of, like, do more real teamwork, and whatnot. But, yeah, I just look back at Ginga Man and Mega Ranger as, like, the kind of, like, the folly of why we now have it that everything's in pairs. Like, it's like right there is like Ginga and Go-Go 5, those two team ups that came back to back, is really like one of those real ones of where they were screwed. Then they did Go-Go 5 and Time Ranger, and that set the trend of what we've had today. So it's like right in that area is like where a lot of the tropes we got now exist, but a lot of the things that are good and bad came out of that area, unfortunately, you know? That's where it comes in. So I think that's all I can really say about that. I mean, I was trying to think, but Metal took the one that I was originally going to do. So I was like, I didn't want to double on top of that. And I didn't want to
immediately... You already knew which one I was going to do.
Yeah, I did. And I didn't immediately want to just do Superhero Taisen Z, because it was like, why do another Taisen? So I was like, fuck it, I'll just try to do it.
Z isn't that bad.
No, it's not really that bad. It was actually, I think, the one that the fans mostly prefer more. Actually, there is one that I'd like to do if we ever do like a crossover. I actually do have now one in mind that I want to work on, but I'm wondering if anyone else is thinking if it's the same one I'm thinking.
I think my favorite of the Superhero Tyson movies was Cho Superhero Tyson.
The video game one that a lot of people on social media are still shitting on.
That one is the Superhero Tyson movie that makes the absolute most sense.
I know, but people are stupid.
The random cameos have purpose for being there.
Because it's one huge video game roster.
Exactly.
But people don't want to accept that. I know. Nevertheless, though, we rambled on pretty long, so let's start, I guess, wrapping up for this week's episode. If that's all right with everyone, we can wrap up, right? Yeah? No?
No, we must talk about how Kyodyne were horribly misbehaved.
No,
Kyodyne
that'll be another episode. That'll be a whole nother episode. All right. Visible Ninja, tell us how we can follow you.
Follow me on Twitter at Metal Ninja 0, as well as on YouTube at Metal Ninja Dojo and Metal Ninja Reviews.
All right, Sound Out.
Follow me on Twitter at SoundOut12, and also on YouTube, I guess, even though YouTube's trying to murder my channel, with more and more policies that make it harder for people to actually see my videos because I don't upload on a regular basis. Yay!
All right, I am Wheelchair21 on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, but my Instagram is TaJa_Doyle, and that's how you can follow me. I do practically a little bit of everything that Sound Out and Metal do, maybe sometimes better, maybe sometimes worse, who knows. You can't really tell with us, because one of us
worse.
always... No, not
Hey,
true.
I'm not holding a gun to your head.
I was gonna say Sound Out sometimes worse than you, but sometimes better than you, but pretty much it's like that round table discussion of you give and take. But nevertheless, though, we'll see you next week with an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. Hey, it's Wheelchair21, and thanks again for listening to an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. If you want to hear more content or see more content from the Hero Club YouTube channel, we're going to need you to subscribe, like, comment with some feedback, and share this channel with a friend. We also would like you to check out our website, hero-club.com, and follow us on various social media outlets just by looking up Hero Club for Life, as well as the stores you see are where we shop. Anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.